Okay, what do you do after your kid gets a head injury? First of all, my friend Amy was over the other day, and I am obsessed with her two children. She was my neighbor before you were my neighbor at the other place I lived in, and she's got these darling
My
kids, darling like yours,
competition.
and they're movers. My kids aren't movers. These kids are movers. They're super smart. They're super active, and they're some of my favorite children just because they're just fun. They're not boring kids. They're fun to watch, but they hurt themselves often because of how much they move. She is one of the most attentive, patient, like I was afraid she could hear me yelling at my kids next door because, and I don't think she's ever yelled at her children. She's an incredible mom. Her son hit his head so hard, and she said to me, Michelle, I remembered what you said, and I felt a little bit better. And he was in the ER, like did brain scans and everything. He hit his head so hard that you could hear it from far away. It made a crunching noise. This is something that a nurse told me, and this nurse actually just passed away, which is another Britowner. This is a really depressing. Skip this episode.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You when your kid hits his head or her head and gets that goose egg, that's
Yeah.
actually a good sign because the swelling's coming out
Oh, good.
rather than swelling going in.
My son's had that three times.
So goose eggs
Yeah,
are actually,
great.
you should still have them checked out. But
Yeah.
it's kind of just at home when you're going to the doctor,
Right, so
you feel a little bit better. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that swelling doesn't mean it's worse. It
in,
actually means
yeah.
at least the swelling's going out. In this case, she thought the swelling had gone in because she couldn't see the bump. But it turns out the way he hit between two stones, the swelling was going out. But because of the way he hit, it looked like it wasn't. So anyway, so that's good to know. And I didn't do that for my research. A nurse told me that, and I looked it up, and it was right. So once it happens, your kid has head injury, there are a few things that you can do just preventatively. And this is not just for kids. If you have an adult child,
Yeah.
if you yourself had a head injury, we should talk about some stuff that you can do. This has huge implications for criminals that we could be doing things for, but we're going to do that in a different episode because we can't be all here all day. Meds and mets, medications and meditations. And I am no hokey pokey, like hokey pokey. I said that.
Because of Hocus Pocus.
I'm no hippy dippy. If I get hit by a car, do not rub sage over my body or ashes on my forehead. Take me to the ER. I was not one to believe in yoga, meditation. But guess what?
Meditating helps.
We're going to get to it, but it can actually change your freaking brain function and structure, which is really hard for me to swallow, but I have to say because it's freaking true.
But you're saying pre-injury, just like a person who meditates, or post?
Meditating helps you no matter what,
Across
all
the
the
board.
time. It increases the good parts of your brain. Well, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to
Okay,
it. First,
okay,
we're going to
sorry.
talk about what you do right away if you see the personality changes right away. This could be anytime, anybody. I wouldn't do this as my first route, but this is what works quickly. Medication. Stimulants and antipsychotics show tremendous improvement in reducing aggression. So if you do end up with, you're thinking about so-and-so, your brother-in-law who's hit his head twice, super aggressive, try to get them on meds if these other things don't work. I just want to lead with that because it can reduce it by huge percentages, and there is an easy fix if you have somebody who's becoming aggressive. Oftentimes the personality changes are not that extreme, but that's there for you if it is, okay? Mood stabilizers and antidepressants work too, but not so they don't have the same rate of effectiveness. It's not as efficacious, but they work too. All of these work better than CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which was the standard of care. So meditation, if you're not ready for putting someone you know on meds, and those meds are no joke, antidepressants are no big deal, but antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, they have other side effects.
Yeah.
I would certainly do it if somebody in my family or it was me, but I'd try this first. Meditation has been shown to change your brain permanently. There's a study at the University of Wisconsin, and in just 8 weeks, which is nothing in the land of meditation, they could measure enhanced left frontal EEG. So that area that is supposed to be stopping the impulses and stopping you from being aggressive, you can change it even if it's damaged. You can work on it. I mean, that's huge. Like neuroplasticity, there's so much that meditation can do. This has been seen in formal imaging as well. So like stick them back in the PET scan, you'll see increased activity in those areas, not just with measuring their EEGs, which are waves.
Mm-hmm.
Regular meditators, people who do it on their own, do not have to have head injury to get into meditation. We should all be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Have greater activation in brain regions involved in intention and inhibition. So what you can see if you do this meditation on anybody, but imagine if you have brain damage, you see increased density of cortical gray matter. Enhanced areas include parts of the brain responsible for moral decision making. So even if your inhibition, this part of your brain is damaged and you're not getting, great changes, you can actually reduce aggression by enhancing the other parts of your brain responsible for it. The hippocampus, which is responsible for learning, memory, aggression, that had enhanced and that had improvement. So you can actually reduce some of your impulses that way. Plus, some studies have showed that increased cortical thickness in the prefrontal cortex compared to controls who weren't meditating. It literally remodels your brain. That is such good news. Like, we used to think, oh, your brain stops developing at this age. There's nothing you can do but damage it.
Right.
This is incredible news.
Yeah.
And it's not, we all should be doing it. I took the course. I did it. I did it with my ex-husband. We did it together because we're that couple. And it was incredible. I felt such a difference, but I couldn't commit to the 20 minutes twice a day, which is really bad. I'm a freaking, failed meditator. But children are really, there's schools now who do it.
Yeah.
The guy, Teo Burkhart, who trained me, said, bring your kids in. I'll train them for free. The only thing I need is a piece of artwork because it's that important to get kids to meditate. Even your kids who have not injured themselves. It's just an important thing to do. If you can get your kids to meditate for just a few minutes every day, you'll see them do better in school. You'll see their hyperactivity reduce. You'll see any conduct disorder you might have will reduce. It's really a good thing to do that I don't do. I have to admit it. I can't be sitting here and be like, I'm the perfect mom. I don't do it.
No, I don't meditate either. In fact, I woke up this morning and I was like, I should start meditating in the morning. But I went to cycling class instead, and I convinced myself that was my meditation.
Well, and that's not bad for you. That's
not bad. I mean, it's good in other ways. But I hear you. I feel like there's just overwhelming evidence about meditation.
And I always thought, okay, meditation works because it just calms you down. It just makes you feel better. You've stopped being crazy for the day. I didn't until I really started digging into okay, if I'm going to study how head trauma can lead to violent murderers like Antonio Bustamante, and if I'm going to talk about what we can do about it, we need to dive in. I need to know, mechanically, what does it do? It's not just because you become a peaceful person because now you're a hippie. You literally are fixing your brain. And you don't need it to be damaged to do that. But shit, if you can fix a damaged brain, why aren't we doing it? Why is it not the first order of business in prisons?
Right.
Next time we cover this, we don't have time today, I'm going to talk about the studies in prison and what meditation has done, even for those with major head trauma. And for those without, by the way. It works for the other type of criminals, too. It just works.